Hey everybody, it is Demo Donna here, and I am so excited to bring you the Matchbox Fold Elegant Thank You card. It's got some beautiful rose gold for the thank you in front, some really nice layering, and then you've got that beautiful Matchbox fold, yet this is still an A2 size card. So you have everything in your kit to create 2 cards. So to get started, I am going to separate my 2 kits by grabbing everything I need for 1 card. And if I can pick them up, there we go. All right. And a very important thing, do not throw away any of the bits that come with your glittery thank you, because we are going to be creating something with those as well. So make sure you save your extra pieces for your actual card. Okay, and I'm going to leave our inspiration here in the corner. And to get started, we are just going to go ahead and fold our card. So I've already constructed the card base for you and the score lines, and the actual card base is 10 by 4.25, sorry, so 10 inches by 4.25, and then your score lines are going to be 4.25 and 8.5. So those are the 2 score lines, and I will also put that in the description. So you are going to be taking this and folding this just like a matchbook. And now we're going to go ahead and assemble the front of our card. And for that, you're going to need this green. So this Hunter green, which is a 4.25 by 4. Nope, this is 4 by 4. Sorry, I'm reading my really beautiful notes, but I will put all the dimensions in the description as well. So this is 4 by 4, which makes sense since my card width is 4.25. So we're going to start by gluing that on. And you are going to center that on your card front. And then you've got 2 different sizes. It's a very, very small dimensional difference, but you do have 2 different sizes of this floral paper. So you could see it's literally like a 1/16 of an inch. So before you separate them out, make sure you're grabbing the correct one. So the smaller one is going to be layered in your burlap paper, and the larger one, which is 3.75 by 3.75, is going to be layered on your green paper. It's a very small difference. All right, and I think I'm going to layer it this way. All right, and that is so far the front of our card. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my green thank you. I really love this color combination together. It turned out really nice. And I'm going to keep these pieces. So these 3 pieces here are from the space between the T and the H loop, and the K loop. And then pop out any other little pieces that need to be popped out, and you can throw those away now. This piece here we are not using, but if you find something else fun to do with that, that's a nice little piece of glitter paper. Now I'm going to flip this over and glue my beautiful rose gold layer. And this thank you die is a pink and Maine, however, it is discontinued. So I'm really sorry. I wanted to use a big thank you, and one of my lovely students sent it to me to use, and I decided to put it in a class, but unfortunately it is discontinued. But I'm sure you have a lot in your stash that you can play with. Okay, so there is step number 1 for my thank you. Step number 2, we are gonna just do a little shadow with the burlap, and I'm gonna cut from under the T, and I'm gonna go around, and I'm gonna come out right here by the K. So I'm gonna take my scissors, and I am just gonna do this kind of weird squiggle, this kind of U around, and cut that just like so. And then we are going to add some glue here. So basically it's acting like a third layer from the die when there really isn't one. But I just wanted to have something to separate this from that beautiful floral pattern so it still pops up a little bit more. So that's what I'm doing on the bottom. And you can really maneuver that however you want. If you want more sticking out or less. And then I'm gonna do the same on top. And this is something you can do with all of your outline dies. You can create a third layer by just cutting that out a little bit more. And there is my top layer. So now I've taken this die with 2 dies and turned it into 3. So I've got the thank you die, that hunter green is this outline die, and then 1 more of these, but cutting it in half and kind of stretching it up gives us the appearance of a third die. Now you can go ahead and pop this up if you want, or you can use some foam tape. Since my original is flat, I'm going to do some foam tape on this one. And I am simply going to, and you know, I was playing a lot with adding another component here, but because this beautiful floral paper is so busy, I decided to just leave the front of it nice and simple. So definitely in terms of card classes that I put together, this is definitely a more simple one. And I'm going to just do one final little pop-up right here and then remove that. Again, you could glue this straight onto your card, nice and flat as well. So those are 2 options. It's always good to know your options. Pop that off, and maybe if you come up with some other ways to highlight some things on the back, maybe taking a little glue pen and adding some more glitter around. Have some fun. So I'm going to center my thank you on the front there. And then the last thing that I did is grabbed these really beautiful glittery sticky embellishments and did 2 in the front. And now the front of your card is done. So I'm going to open this up and we are going to work in the center. So the first thing that you are going to do is layer on this card, and you want to center it. And the dimension for this is 5.5 by 4 1/8. So I did cut it just a little bit smaller so you don't have trouble fighting the folds. So it's not really leaning up on the fold where that's going to be a problem. And then I'm going to put my glue here just so I don't get any glue on my table. I mean, I say that, but chances are there will be glue on my table. We know how this goes. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of eyeball it in terms of getting this even. And that looks pretty even to me. Again, double check your fold, make sure you're good on space there. Yay. And then for the center, the layers are the burlap paper. And you know, if another way to make this with this beautiful, with like a burlap alternative, is to use some of the really cool Pink and Main, the foilables. There was a burlap one released last month. There was also a burlap, it was a burlap embossing folder. So some really cool burlappy looking things released by Pink and Main last month that you can incorporate into this card if you'd like. Okay, last but not least, from my stash, I have this really nice label die. So you've of course got 2 of those in your kit, 1 for each card, and that is where you're going to put your message. And even that is just really nice and simple and clean. And so far you've got your 4 layers on the inside of your card. You can continue to do a fold check. Make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. And then we are going to do our inside. So I've got a little sprig here, and I am going to pop off that bottom piece. And then I'm going to go and take my scissors. I'm going to grab my smaller ones, and I'm just going to cut this little stem out. So I'm just going to make a V cut. 1. Does help when you don't cut your hand off. We need that. 1 and 2, just a little V. You can also just put your rose on it if you're not comfortable cutting something that tiny. But so I basically have just cut that. Looks like a little sprout. Okay, now we are going to take these 3 guys, and we are making a rosebud. So I'm going to first use this one with a little notch in it. Add some glue and layer that right over top, just like so. And then the 3rd piece, right there. You could scooch it together if you want a smaller rosebud, but I thought, why waste this beautiful paper when we can create a fun little rosebud for the inside of our card. Now, gluing anything to glitter paper, you want to add a little extra pressure and a little extra time. And there's my rosebud. Here are my 3 layers, and I'm gonna I think I'm gonna put the blue one down first on this one. That baby blue kind of coordinates with like the eucalyptus on the card. So I'm gonna put that down. Then I'm gonna put the remainder of my little sprig down. And then my rosebud. And you can have it popping out of the sprig. You can have it on the bottom. I think I'm going to have it just kind of popping up there a little bit. And there is the center of my card. Really fun. You could obviously play with the way you layer it, like I did the green on the bottom, the light blue, and then the little rosebud on top. And obviously all your rosebuds are going to look different because you are piecing those together. All right, the next thing that we're going to work on is this fun little flap here. And we are going to be layering our beautiful green paper. So that's going to go on first. And this is a 4 1/4 by 1 1/4. So we are going to layer that on. There we go. And then a little burlap border from my stash. And we are going to center that as well. Center, Donna, center. There we go. Okay, and then last but not least, you are going to take my stash sample and your fun little border here. It's already got the adhesive on it, so this is going to be a really easy technique. Peel off the backing, open up your little glitter bag here, and tap that all in there. And there is enough for you to use on both of your pieces. I did just pour a lot on here just so I can fully cover it. I use my finger tools to make sure all that lighter green is covered up with glitter. And another thing you could do is when you tap that off, if you have little extra sections, you can just dip those right in. I'm going to use my finger tool to just squish that all on and make sure I don't have any extra. You're going to put your coffee filter into a taco and add that leftover glitter back into the bag for your second card. Glue that on and layer that. I already trimmed it down to size for you guys. So just like that, and there you have it. Your thank you, elegant thank you Matchbox card. And I will leave the link in the description to all the sizes of the papers and the score lines. And thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed creating this beautiful card for you all. Bye-bye.